Okay, so in this video we are going to focus on the quadratic function. But before we are talking more about quadratic function, I would like to review a little bit about how to graph a linear function. So recall, any linear function can be expressed as mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay. So given any function in the linear form, you can always convert them to this slope-intercept format, y equal mx plus b. So the variable x here, any number stand in front of that is called a slope, and any number that's by itself is called a y-intercept. So for example, if I have y equal negative 6x minus 1, what would be the slope for this equation? Remember that anything stands in front of the x. So in this case, negative 6. This is the slope, right? This is m, or the slope. And the remaining number, which is negative 1, is called a y-intercept. Okay? Here. So how do you plot this? So if you want to graph any function in the slope-intercept format, the first thing you need to plot is the y-intercept. Okay, so graph the y-intercept here, which is negative 1. So negative 1 is on the y-axis. So negative 1 is this one. So plus 1 point. And you need only 2 points to connect the graph of a linear function together. Okay, so how do I find the second point? The second point will depend on the slope. So the slope is defined as the rise over the run. Okay, in this case we have negative 6. So how do I plot this? Negative 6 can be rewritten as negative 6 over 1. So negative 6 and negative 6 over 1 is the same thing, right? Because negative 6 divided by 1 give you negative 6. So the rise or the top is negative 6 and the bottom is 1. So negative 6 here tells you that you need to go down by 6 units, and you go to the right by 1 unit. So from negative 1, you go down by 6 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 1, you go down by 6 units, which is negative 7. And then you go to the right by 1. So go down by 6, go to the right by 1, which is this one. Here is 1. So go down by 6 from the y-intercept. Go down by 6, go to the right by 1. Plot another point. Okay, and then connect them together. So this gives you a linear graph of the linear equation in the slope-intercept format. In the case we are not having the slope-intercept format, so how do we plot this? So let's say I have some equation 2y minus 3x equals 6. So how do I graph this equation? How do I graph this? First, you need to convert the equation here in the format of mx plus b. Okay, so you want to eliminate the y on the left side, and then whatever the rest is on the right side. Okay, so solve for y. So plus 3x on both sides, right? You want to eliminate only the y on the left side. So if you do that, you're gonna get 2y equal 6 plus 3x. Okay, now how do I solve for y? I divide by 2 on both sides, right? I get y equal 6 over 2 plus 3x over 2. And this is the same thing as 6 divided by 2 is 3 plus 3 over 2x. Okay, so now we have the format of mx plus b, right? Something x plus some constant number, which is b. So here is b. M here is 3 over 2. So how do you graph this? Again, you need to plot the y-intercept first. So the number 3 here go to 1, 2, 3 here. So 1 plus. And then the slope 3 that means you go up by 3, right? This is rise, this is run. Go up by 3, run to the right by 2. So 1, 2, 3, go up by 3, which is 6. 1, 2, 3, and then run to the right by 2. So 1, 2, 3, and then run to the right by 2. Plot another point. Then connect it together. This is your graph. Alright. Now another type question relating to the linear function, which is will ask you to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay. So if I have some equation 5x minus 2y equal 1. Okay. So how do I find the x-intercept and the y-intercept? So first, let's find the x-intercept. So if you want to find the x-intercept, you let y equal to 0. Then you solve for x. Okay? So we let y equal 0. Plug in the original function here. You got 5x minus 2, y plug in 0 equal 1. So this is gone. 5x equal 1. Then you solve for x. Right? Divide by 5 on both sides. So x equal 1/5. So the x-intercept here is 1/5 for x and y, which is 0. Okay. Then how do I find the y-intercept? In order to find y-intercept, we let x equal 0 and we solve for y. So let x equal 0, plug into the original function here. You got 5 times 0 minus 2y equal 1. So this is gone. You got negative 2y equal 1 divided by negative 2 on both sides. You got y equal negative 1/2. Okay. So the y-intercept would be x and y. X is 0. Y is negative 1/2, which we just found. Okay. So that is how you find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now, the equation so far we have been dealing with is called a linear equation. Now we are moving to quadratic equation. And the reason we have quadratic equation because we have the format of y equal ax squared. X is to the 2 or the second or the square power. Before we have y equal mx plus b. X to the first power. So we call it linear. Now quadratic, that means this is 2. So x is the power of 2. So ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, this is called a quadratic equation. And how do you solve for x? How do you solve if you set the equation equal to 0? How do I solve for this? And before that, a, b, c are the constant or the coefficient in front of the x squared, x of the quadratic equation. So if I want you to identify a, b, and c for a given quadratic equation, you just graph the term in front of x squared for a, in front of x for b, and the remaining number for c. So the solution for ax squared plus bx equals c equals to 0, we have two solutions for x. The first one is minus b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. The second solution is minus b minus, the difference is plus and minus here, minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. The reason we have two solutions because this is a quadratic or x to the second power, so we must have two solutions to satisfy for this equation. So for example, if I want to solve for something like y equal x squared minus 9, and I want to solve for this equation equal to 0, how do I solve for this? The first thing you have to define, or you have to identify the coefficient a, b, c, because we need that to plug in the two formula here. So a in this case is the whatever stand in front of the x squared term, which is 1, right? Nothing here, that's mean 1. And then b, we don't have the x term here. That's mean b is 0 because b is 0 times x give you nothing. So b is 0 because we don't have that x term here. And c is whatever the remaining number, which is -9 in this case. Now, how do you find the two solutions? Just plug in a, b, c to x1 and x2. So x1 minus b, which is -0, so nothing. So plus square root of b squared, which is 0 squared, so nothing, right? So 0 minus 4, a is 1, c is -9, okay? And divide by 2a, which is 2 times 1. So 0, so we don't care about this one. So we have only this remaining here. -4 times 1 times -9. Minus times minus give you plus. 9 times 4, 36. And then 2 times 1 is 2. Square root of 36 is 6, right? Because 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 squared give you 36. 2, or this is 6 over 2, or 3. The second solution here is minus b, so -0, nothing, minus square root of b squared, which is 0 squared, here square. -4, a is 1, c is -9, and then 2a, which is 2 times 1. We have the same thing here, so square root of 36, but we have the minus in front instead of plus, so minus here over 2. This is -6 over 2, which is -3. So one solution is 3, and then x2, the other solution is -3. So you have two solutions for the quadratic equation. So first, you always need to define or identify a, b, and c from a given quadratic equation. And then you can solve for x1 and x2 applying the quadratic equation formula. So always need to memorize this formula x1 and x2. The difference between them is the plus and the minus sign here. Okay, so that's all I have for you.